what's up everyone, Duquesne23 here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to reduce your project size whenever you have objects that are Megascan objects, because that's one of the biggest problems with them. That you load these in here and the size is huge. If you notice, I have nothing else on this map besides some terrain, and it's already at 19% project size just from this one black alder tree here that was a Megascan object. Now it looks fantastic, it's super detailed, it looks great, but of course that is unreasonable if you want to build a map around different Megascan objects or anything like that. This is completely unreasonable. But this can also work for any other things. If you're getting a too high of a project size, you can try this trick out and see if it works for you. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is actually fairly simple. It just may take a little time, depends on how many textures you have on these objects. But what you're going to be doing is going into your object list. Now, of course, I go to my black alder, and then you go over into textures. Now, don't go into materials. Make sure you go into the actual textures themselves. And then you're going to go into the textures, and you have to change each one of these textures themselves. So you're just gonna, I'm gonna start off of the two-sided, which is basically the leaves, and then I'm gonna go into the summer. And what you want to do here is double click on this, and this is of course the texture for the leaves themselves. Now you want to come over here where it says maximum texture size. You want to change this either to 256 or 512. Now what this is going to do, if let's say we change it to 256, 0 is just the default texture that it loads in. It's the highest quality, it's everything. So if you go 256 and you go ahead and hit enter on there, you're going to have to wait a second, but if you notice it shrinks it and stuff. So basically what you're doing here is you're shrinking the texture and it's going to be less clear and less pretty. So let's go ahead and just throw this up here. I want to get a little bit closer so you can see. So since these are the leaves themselves, we'll go ahead and take a look at this. We'll probably be able to better look at this from like the bark or something like that. So let's go ahead and bring this out here. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And what it should do is automatically change the texture of the leaves. Now, like I said, this is fairly small. So it's, doesn't have a whole lot of textures, that to start off with. But let's go ahead and do this to the rest of them. That's what you want to do to each and every one. You want to change the actual texture size to match, what you're, wanting to do. So let's change this one to 256. Just the same thing. You got to wait for it to load. Go ahead and hit save, and it'll of course change, and the leaves will get less beautiful. So this is just something that you're gonna have to deal with. Of course, if you want to bring in some Megascan assets, if you notice, they are getting a little bit more blurry and less pretty and everything like that. But you can of course try a different size. If you don't like this one, you're like, oh gosh, that's too much, you can of course go into there and you can try 512. You can try different stuff. The 512 will be a little bit better quality than what it is currently off of the 256. So 512, a little bit sharper, looks a little bit better, but I just want to show y'all everything off of 256 so you can see what I'm talking about. Now remember, we are at 19% project size with one object. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go through every texture that this one asset right here has. So this includes, the trunk textures here. It includes the tileable, the imposter, the decoration textures, everything. I got to go in there and I'm going to change them all to 256, pretty much the lowest quality that you can possibly have. But as you can tell from a distance, the leaves still look pretty good. Of course, if you're real up close, they do have a little bit of blur and stuff. They're not as sharp as what they once were. But let's go ahead and see what the project size will be whenever I change every texture to 256. And I'll get back to you on this. Actually, let's go ahead and check out the trunk texture. If we do lower the trunk texture all the way down, because that's one thing that you got to remember, it will affect the quality of everything. So so let's go ahead and see what the trunk texture will look like. Look at it right there. There's the trunk texture, what it looks like whenever it's lowered down, and honestly, it doesn't really look that bad. The trunk, it's a little bit more blurry and everything, less sharp, but it really doesn't look that bad. And of course you want to do this to all the decorator textures and all that type of stuff there. So I'm going to get back to y'all whenever I change all of these to 256. And then we'll go ahead and check out what the project size is going to be once we push the changes to the map and we can see what the project size is. Okay, so I went ahead and changed all the texture sizes over there to 256. Now, you can't really tell too much of a difference from a distance. Like it still looks really good and everything, but as you get closer, you can of course tell, like see how it's a lot blurrier and everything. Like everything's a lot, like it's less detailed, of course. You're changing it to make it less detailed. Now, this, of course, you don't have to do 256. You can go ahead and increase that to 512 or something else. This is just really a very low quality. I went the lowest as possible just to show what the project size will change whenever we do push the changes here in a second. So really, you just, whenever you're on your own map, you're making your own stuff, just try it, just change different stuff. You don't have to always go for the 256. You can go higher to 512 or whatever else you want. But that is just something to remember, that you can change the maximum texture size to reduce your project size as well. So let's go ahead and push these changes and let's go and see what the project size changes to. Alright, so now I have pushed the changes, and as you can tell, the project size is now to 8%. Now, of course, you gotta remember, this is a Megascan asset, and this is a super detailed Megascan asset, so of course, the project size will still be fairly high whenever you import this in, but of course duplicating it since it's in here won't add too much to the project size and everything, so that's really nice. But yeah, you can see how much it actually dropped. Now imagine if you don't have something this detailed, but you have a whole bunch of other assets, you can reduce the texture size on those assets, and it'll help out your project size so you can continue building more and more things. And as you can tell, in game here, it does not look bad. This is with the 256. This is with the low quality version. Now, of course, you can tell the leaves are a little bit rough looking compared to what they were, but it still looks really good. Like, it's a little more blurry and everything, but again, it still looks really good, and I still highly suggest doing this for your own maps. So that's the great thing about this. You can go ahead easily do this. It's something not too complicated. You're just changing the textures, size, and it's really simple. So if this helped you out, be sure to leave a comment down below. Tell me, what else that you would love to be able to see. Also, leave a like on this video. Subscribe for more subscribe for more Uefn tutorials and content and map features and everything. I'm in the process of building my own maps, so I'm really excited to show that to y'all. I have a couple of them coming here soon, but yeah, so thanks everyone for coming out, and I will see y'all in the next one.